Alright, hello and welcome back to Downstage Gaming. I'm your host, Josh, and this is part 23 of our Let's Play of The Letter. When we last left off with Marianne, we had sort of explored the mansion here, and had a couple of chats with Hannah that didn't go, like, great, but it was better than hanging out with Luke. And then everything got real spooky. We found out about Marianne's past with a blonde girl named Lorraine, and basically they loved each other, but Marianne was thought that that was not morally right. Had been raised to think that that was sinful, and so when Lorraine sort of professed her love to Marianne, Marianne basically said like no, kind of broke her heart. It seems like maybe a little bit, and then like was always like going to like, hey, I'll go and repair it someday, but never did. And then Lorraine seemingly killed herself, and so Marianne very much places the blame of that on herself. And so it seems like the main thing that is haunting her right now is this memory that she has, which I noted last episode was interesting just because it was so different from the other characters so far, at least as far as I know. But nighttime has arrived, and we've just exited the mansion. It's already dark as we make our way out of the mansion. With no lights, we are only illuminated by the headlamps of the Wright's car and the stars up above us. The sight of them helps me compose myself much more than several minutes of being alone did. The car's engine is running, yet the two still stand out on the lawn. Mrs. Wright is busy, eyes up to the stars, and Mr. Wright, arms crossed, has his eyes down on the ground. Those two sentences really do say pretty much everything you need to know about these two, huh? It is the crunch of the grass under my heels that brings their attention to me.
About time. What took you so long? A minute longer and I'd think the house swallowed you all up.
Well, you never know.
Oh, hush, dear. I'm sure she has her reasons. Marianne doesn't seem the sort to idle.
Sorry, I was just checking on something important.
See, business is business and they take time, love. You should know that better than anyone. So, Marianne, what do you think? Are you the woman for the job?
Are you okay with me being terrified of being here? I guess is the question.
I know we already signed papers hiring you, but I want to be 100% sure that you are committed.
Oh, I'm gonna be committed. I glanced back towards the mansion. Knowing what I had seen there, or rather, who I thought I saw there, because there's just no way. Not to mention how I acted towards Mrs. Wright, for goodness sake. I should feel the slightest bit hesitant. I was lucky. I've seen enough films to know what happens when a promiscuous woman enters a haunted house. I'm not sure I would call you promiscuous, Marianne. This is my chance to turn it down. Make excuses, say that I'm not up to the task, that I need to take care of my old, sick father. Just pay the fine, which is probably outrageous for a contract like this, and let it go. I should turn it down. But for some obstinate reason, I can't. In the same manner I haven't let go of her, of the regret that has shadowed me since that day. Much as I hate to admit it, even to myself, seeing her again, the mischievous glint in her eyes, the loose tendrils of her hair curled around her forehead, it's something I've terribly missed, and now that it's here, almost within arm's reach, My father would tell me, sometimes you just simply have to go through with it. Consequences be damned. And, well, I really don't have any logical reason to say no. At least not something a client like the Wrights would want to hear from a professional designer.
It's certainly an interesting project. You can be sure I'm seeing it through the end.
Alright, well, you remember that when I accidentally get you killed.
Such dedication! Oh, I do love the determination.
You were always determined like that, weren't you?
Hearing her voice once again sends a chill running down my back. I can't wait for this day to be over. From the mansion and through Ansem, I rode with them in silence. Let's take a look at our pick. Is it of Lorraine? Yep. I mean, she doesn't look so nice in this picture. But as soon as we hit the city proper, I asked to be dropped off and bid them goodnight. I thought it best if I didn't stay too long in a confined space with either Mrs. or Mr. Wright. It's probably fair. You had weird relations with both of them at this point. Both seemed to cause me serious trouble, and if the project had been any less interesting or grand, I would have dropped it without a second thought. Would have, shouldn't have, won't. I assure them that my place isn't that far off, and I have to fight off the urge to roll my eyes and groan when whiskey throws me a little smirk. But even in my own home, peace is elusive, as is sleep. I lie awake thinking of what I saw in that mansion. Of who I saw. If I so much as hear a single whisper from her, if I so much as see a whisper of her hair, I'm afraid I'll go mad. But none of that happens, and it makes me feel hollow. For 2 nights, I've had trouble sleeping, but it's only one morning, when fatigue has already let me rest, that I'm reminded of what terrifies me so. Okay, so we've jumped 2 days forward. In my restless dreams, I see that mirror, the one in the study, and in it, I see her. I see them. Lorraine and Hannah. Hannah and Lorraine.
Poor, pathetic Marianne. Work, work, work.
This is a little disturbing.
She'll work herself to death.
See, she doesn't listen. That's all she did. Look at what happened to me.
They talk among themselves with cruel smiles and venomous tongues. Or rather, to themselves, 2 heads, 1 body. Oh, I didn't even really notice that. Oh, great. A horrible mockery of these women, as if they were the one and the same. Also, I can't help but notice, Marianne, that they are basically naked.
More's the pity. Life goes on and goes out, and she doesn't even see it.
Do you think she'll even realize when she's kicked the bucket herself?
When they say a person has a hard time telling when they're in a dream, it was true often enough. Even with this bizarre sight, even with the obvious implication that this isn't real, I can't help but feel distress.
Likely. Is that any way to live at all? She might as well be dead.
Cruel fate that she's alive and I'm... well...
Though they speak into each other's ears, tones low and hushed, I can still hear them as clear as day. Their whispers pervade the air, heavy and oppressive. They bury and dig into my head like tiny maggots worming their way into my skull. It is only then that they take notice of my presence. Eyes turn towards me, and I can only feel small under their scrutiny. Caricature smiles etch on their faces, mimicking each other grossly.
Oh, Marianne! How long have you been standing there, dearie?
About like a minute or 2.
Come join us, Marianne. We won't bite.
You seem like you might. And like, in 2 different kind of ways, maybe.
Unless you ask, that is.
Yeah, okay, alright.
Have you been looking at us? Spying? How scandalous. Such a naughty girl.
Marianne is a little naughty. I'll agree with
I'm
you
sure
there.
you were just waiting for something lewd to happen, weren't you?
You know she will not admit it. She thinks it wrong. You've said it so yourself.
Yes. She thought me wrong, impure, abnormal, because I loved her.
My breath hitches, and I open my mouth to protest, but they stop me, screeching. The mirror that holds them cracks, lines spindering across its surface.
Do not lie. We know the gluttonous thoughts you try to deny, girl. All those desires you bury beneath that sickening guilt. You act the martyr when you turn the bed you lie in into your own hedonistic hell. You are nothing but a tainted soul with filth-stained flesh held together by falsehood and pride.
They look livid. You know, it's good to know that somebody hates Marianne more than I do. It makes me feel better. And when it looks like they would lunge, I wake, feeling like the wind had been knocked out of me. With a groan, I squint and find a certain fluff ball sitting on my chest, looking as pleased as a punch. Ah, she is the overlady of the cats, queen of despair and destruction of nice furniture. I'm glad we're finally getting back to the real nice point of Marianne. Her cat. Though I can't stay mad at Her Majesty, because it feels like she did something good this time. I was having a nightmare, but I can't even remember what it was about. Trying to recall leaves a terrible pit in my stomach. Maybe it's probably better that I don't remember.
Good morning, Baruthiel. Who's the good kitty? Are you hungry? Is that why you woke me up?
No, I did it because I'm omniscient and know that you were having a bad time. A content purr comes from my sweet dear before she jumps off the bed and trots towards the kitchen. On the other hand, it takes me a bit more before I roll out of bed and start my day. Mornings before work is always quite a bit... You know, for someone who... I know this is kind of small, but for someone who thinks that, like, love between 2 women is, like, a sinful thing, you sure do have, like, a fairly suggestive poster here of 2 girls seemingly, you know, into each other. That's my read on the situation. Shower first, then a mug of coffee and a bowl of oats. Sometimes I do stretches, and I always check my work email. The Wrights will be moving into the mansion today. I don't think the paperwork is officially done yet, but it isn't too far-fetched to think they were allowed to start their move despite that. Rich people like them will always find ways to get what they want, after all.
I'll be leaving you again today, Beth. So you behave and make sure not to shred up my new covers, okay? And don't worry, I didn't forget tomorrow is Black Cat Day, so I'll throw you a party.
Did not know that was a thing. So what's that, the 27th? The 26th, yeah? Yeah. What happened on Black Cat Day? Okay, yeah, mostly Zach's bad day.
But only if you behave like a proper lady.
She barely gives me a glance as I say that before going back to her own food. Cats. Still, better than humans, most of the time. Too bad I have to work with humans. The place is already busy as soon as I get here. The foreman, one that I've recommended the Wrights for his work ethic, is early as usual. Already he's instructing men here and there with the bigger loads. I have no chance to talk to him as Mrs. Wright appears, greets me with a smile.
Mrs. Wright, I hope everything has been to your liking thus far.
Mrs. Wright, I had the craziest dream last night, and I really think you should hear about it.
Good morning, Marianne. It has been delightful, and these men have been very helpful. Look at all this. It's so busy here. I'm getting tired just looking at them go.
You know, I'm gonna guess they're getting more tired doing the actual work.
No complications so far with the movers or the previous owners of the mansion, I hope?
If anything, the only one being problematic is Luke, if I'm to be honest.
Oh, it's not surprising.
He can be such a diva, but I do like that about him.
Do you? She stops, looking up at the upper landing, where Mr. Wright comes through with two other movers in the mirror from the study.
Oh, do be careful with that mirror. We wouldn't want anyone getting hurt because of broken glass.
Yes, it'd be such a shame if someone got hurt because of the mirror.
Why are you even having it carried around?
Oh? You did say you didn't want the mirror, and I keep getting distracted by it.
God, you're awful.
If I'm going to turn the study into my office, I'd rather not have it there. Where can we put this?
Well, you are not putting it in our room. Why don't you go, I don't know, put it in the wine cellar for now.
Oh.
We can figure out if we'll store it in the attic or somewhere else later.
Yes, put it in the place where other creepy bad things happen.
You heard her, boys. To the cellar it goes. Mush!
The movers bring down the mirror one step at a time, no matter how much the man tells them to hurry. An unsettling feeling grows in my stomach as I see our reflection in the bloody thing. And I look away, not wishing to risk anything. If I see Lorraine's image in the mirror now, I wouldn't know what to do. I don't have the luxury of privacy right now, and I am not going to break down in front of all these people. As soon as they go into the kitchen, I realize I'm holding my breath. I let out a sigh of relief when I think nobody is looking, and I go back to the task at hand. It'll be a terribly busy day. It'll be a terribly busy day, and there's no need for me to even think of anything else. I talk with the foreman, fill him in which room is which. It seems I'm doomed to not get any significant work done without being interrupted when it comes to these particular clients, however.
Marianne, dear, have you had breakfast yet? Well, I do believe it would be considered brunch at this hour.
I mean, if you got the pancakes, I'm ready to go again, Hannah.
Oh, yes, Mrs. Wright.
You must join me. Johans has already been breaking in the kitchen, as they say. I do not see the others settling down for a meal anytime soon. Someone might as well enjoy the food while it's hot, and that someone might as well be us.
I should say no. I really must say no. But the way she smiles at me makes it difficult to do so. Look at how ridiculous I'm being, acting like a silly, nervous schoolgirl with a crush. It's just brunch, and who am I to say no to a client? It would be impolite to do so. It's not like I'm going to agree because of anything other than propriety. I'm not agreeing just because she batted her pretty eyelashes at me and I'm very attracted to her and I hope she loves me.
If you insist.
It really isn't any of those. But it's something about her eyes, rather. She looks like she needs a good talk. A friend. And although I'm not supposed to be chummy with my client, there's no harm in pretending, right? Oh, is this the one we did with Hannah? I think it might be. Of course, I've been wrong on many occasions before. Maybe there's plenty of harm in pretending that I care. Because pretending I care might lead to actually caring. And there's nothing worse than actually caring. Being alone in the same room as the missus leaves me reeling, so I find myself paying too much attention to her. It seems so borderline unhealthy how much I'm getting obsessed, even if it's just by looking. It's the little insignificant things I notice, like the way she plays with her hair or how she smooths down her dress.
Hiya! Come on now!
Whiskey's annoying voice in the other room helps pull me back to the ground. I'm just looking, aren't I? I know that someone like her wouldn't even look at someone like me. It's a real Beauty and the Beast storyline here, Marianne. Still, there's some time to turn around this bad decision.
I'd really like to thank you for inviting me to breakfast, Mrs. Wright, but I already ate, so I should really go back to work.
Nonsense! You arrived so early. You must not have gotten a proper meal. Sit. Sit! I'd situate us in the dining hall, but it is a mess right now.
Her concern is sweet, as is her smile. But I'm really not here for idle chit-chat, something I keep forgetting. We're both oh yeah, yep, no, I recognize this anywhere. We've definitely, this is that same one we did with Hannah. We're both distracted when the food arrives, and it's enough for me to stay, at least until the meal is over. No more, no less, just to be polite. Thankfully, the conversation steers into a topic I'm comfortable with. Work. This goes on for a bit, and I can't be more relieved. Most people don't understand calling me a workaholic, but I chose to work in a field I'm enthusiastic about. No, you use work to distract yourself from things you're uncomfortable about, Marianne. So what if my career is also my hobby?
But no, really, how have you liked it so far?
Oh, it has been wonderful, believe me. Everything is going smoothly too. It has been a long time since I've worked on something on this grand a scale. Nowadays, everyone is about condos and flats, living in the city where every room is an identical box.
Yep, you really blew it there, Marianne.
Believe me, this is very refreshing.
We lived in a condo before this, Marianne.
I didn't mean any insult.
It's fine, sweetie. Look at you, all frazzled. I was just pulling your leg. Luke wanted that penthouse when we got married, and you can thank him for purchasing this place as well.
Wait, doesn't she own the house? I'm pretty sure. I have no business with it, though. It's theirs to hash out. That is interesting, though. But apparently the momentary confusion has been visible on my face.
Don't be fooled. I'm just the treasury. I wouldn't be able to make a purchase this grand without his seal of approval.
I see.
That's it. That's all you have to say.
Yes? What else is there to it? Without warning, this nice friendly chat devolved into something horrible. Something sad.
But
something to
I
deal
really
with
don't know
people.
What to say, Mrs. Wright. We were talking of no topic in particular, and
Luke. We were talking about Luke.
about him not eating breakfast with you.
About him treating me as if I were some treasury.
Despite my general dislike of the upper class, I sometimes feel pity for them. They may have all the money in the world where material things aren't a problem, but they don't even see what they've become, where they've ended up, or what they've done most of the time. They're shut in by their own trap, forced to play along with society's expectations and do anything to stay where they are and to keep what they have. A world where even people feel or are treated like they are mere possessions. When someone is at the top, the only way for them to go is down. I've worked with many Hannahs and Lukes and Whiskies, but I've never been one of them. I don't pretend to understand their world any deeper than that. I merely know what I've witnessed before. She looks lost, speechless at how she betrayed herself. My pity for the likes of her returns. Nothing but pity moves me as I speak before she can say anything else that might ruin or break her.
I won't speak a word, Mrs. Wright. Not only am I contractually obliged to, it would also go against my principles. This is no one else's business but your own, and it should be kept between the two of you.
Well, I'm glad we didn't threaten her back when we were Hannah.
And whoever you wish to seek counsel from.
Please, Marianne. You have to understand these sort of affairs. If anyone were to know this, they could just twist it and we'll be ruined. All I ask for is your silence on the matter.
Just sign this contract, please. The way she practically begs me to keep quiet about it is disheartening. I have no plans of speaking about anything I hear, especially if it's about their private affairs. But the way she looks at me, the way she expects some sort of fallout because of this, makes my heart clench.
Well, I'm keeping that information confidential as well.
It's not like I have any other choice, do I?
Thank you.
When the last of the food and drink is gone, the door opens as if on cue.
Madam, the photographer from Luxury Living is here.
Oh, yeah.
This was a wonderful meal, Marianne. You're free to return to your duties. I must excuse myself.
Yeah, you go have a blast with somebody that's going to be dead in a week.
It was my pleasure. And thank you for the food as well.
She stands up. She stands to up and leave, and all I want to do is reassure her again, to prove that I am someone she can trust. So when she looks back my way, I didn't fight the smile that found its way in my face. I feel giddy. But the feeling dies down afterwards as I sober up. Were you drinking? Oh well, back to work. I guess maybe she was having like a mimosa or something. Soon enough, I find myself drawn to the kitchen where the right butler has returned to. He's already claimed the space and telling movers to back off, and none dares to question his proclamation either.
My kitchen. No kinder allowed. Little men running around with knives especially. We do not want any accidents to happen now, do we? Good?
Good.
Good.
I mean, it is a knife-wielding German standing there. I don't think anybody would be insane enough to refuse this request.
I hope I meet the age restriction, or at least the height restriction, because I'm asking to be let in here.
You are allowed inside, McCulloch, but not the little ones.
Who the heck are we talking about? Shaking my head and a roll of my eyes is all I give him. It's not like I'm going to be any trouble to him. I just need to look around, get my bearings. The breakfast had been distraction enough. I don't even want to think about what we just talked about. I just need to get my head straight and get back to work. The movers work efficiently, even when they're left alone, and they do quick work of their responsibilities. The head foreman comes, standing in the doorway to consult me of this or that, and I have to go help out every now and then. But they pretty much have everything up to standards. They skip lunch entirely, not even realizing when they do so. Nevertheless, all is well, and the butler gets to heating up the leftover bubble and squeak from breakfast, and makes a generous batch of fish and chips for them. Most likely simple in comparison to what he serves the Wrights, but well done nonetheless.
That smells good. Want to wrap up some for me to go?
No! It is for the workers. It is an idle observation more than anything. My thoughts, as they are, preoccupy
If there are
me.
any left, one can't go wrong with fish and chips. Everyone loves them. Even my husband. And he's American.
Americans hate most things. I love fish and chips, so you're right there. I really do hate getting so up and close and personal with my clients. It's a distraction. It's obvious to me that I've got my priorities all wrong when I can't help but think about what I heard, what I learned about the right couple. These things have a way of creeping up on a person. Thoughts, ideas, whether they're fact or fiction. They creep up and fester, crawl and writhe in a way that twists. I hear giggling, delighted and mocking. They creep up, and the sensation of fingers ghosting briefly on my arm causes me to freeze and hiss.
Don't!
I half expect her to be there.
Whoa, no need to scream bloody murder.
I just thought we could, go back to your place and continue where we left off. Jesus!
It's just me. Quiet down before you break glass.
But it's just whiskey.
Don't do that again. Ever.
I don't like being scared, though I don't believe in the likes of spooks. Being startled is not on the top of the list of things Marianne liked. I mean, let's just take a quick look here. Things that Marianne likes. Chocolates, cats, classical arts, country music, karaoke, board games, video games, anime, and other obscure pop culture items, and yoga. Yeah, you're right, it's not on there. Lucky for him, I have nothing within reach, or he would have gotten on a friendly terms with something, like a rolling pin.
What was with that reaction? Were you really scared?
Oh, shut up, Luke.
Has Johann's been telling you ghost stories? He just loves to scare people. Isn't that right, Brother Graham?
The butler's expression is unreadable. I hardly see any emotion on his face to begin with as I started working for the Wrights, aside from vague amusement. I will agree that for as much as I hate Luke, I do find the relationship between him and Johann's, from what I have seen, to be fun. I still feel bad for Johann's, but it's fun. I enjoy it. It's a good relationship. There must have been something there, though, judging from Mr. Wright's own content look. The expression on Mr. Wright's face is almost cruel. But neither of them spoke, even if Johannes leaves the room to serve the workers their late lunch. He hates you! He hates you so much!
So, now that we're alone, Marianne, what are you so jumpy for?
He's doing the same thing! What is this? The Marianne spelling mystery. It's the greatest mystery of this game.
I was just thinking about all the urban legends the movers have been telling me about this place.
Don't tell me you believe in that tosh. They're nothing but tales made up to scare children.
I can't wait to get to your chapter and see what nonsense you're dealing with, Lee.
Timmy, Billy, don't you dare go up to that big mansion and get in trouble there. The ghosts are going to get you.
You could tell that they had a lot of fun voicing Luke.
That's a boring way to look at it, but that's usually what it is anyway, no? Like I said, I was just thinking.
It would be a relief, actually, if those rumors of this place being haunted is true. That just means I'm not going bonkers. Hearing, let alone seeing, a dead person isn't exactly the symptoms of a healthy mind. Sure, it means there would be such things such as ghouls and goblins, but at least I'd be sane. On the other hand, there would actually be a dead girl walking around.
If you could excuse the inane question, Mr. Wright, you haven't noticed anything weird here?
A simple enough question on the surface, yet I noticed the man stiffen as the question leaves my mouth. I wouldn't have noticed it if I wasn't watching his reaction intently, but in his eyes I see something dangerous.
It depends on your definition of the word weird. Are we still on the topic of this place being haunted? Because no, things have not started to fly around and we have yet to require an exorcism. I don't think my head would like to do the whole 180-degree turn thing.
So what weird thing have you seen?
Well, maybe that, but no strange people?
Aside from my usually weird butler and all the weird men traipsing around touching my things? No, not really. Why do you ask? Have you noticed anyone strange while you were here? Because you must report it to Johans and he'll have security handle it. But these reports better not be about ghosts and things that go bump in the night. I don't want to waste manpower on the boogeyman or senseless witch hunts.
I'll keep that in mind, Mr. Wright. But no, it's nothing like that. I guess the mansion is just strange for me. It's a unique project.
No strange men or women lurking about then?
At least two. A dead teenager would technically qualify as strange. But yeah, the whole I see dead people thing isn't gonna go over well.
None that I know of. But I'll inform Johans immediately if something comes up.
So if you could just give me his deets, give me his number.
I'm serious, Mint. You see anything, anyone suspicious, and you report it. Immediately.
What is this?
I think that goes without saying.
The concern he had on the talk of security is quickly gone. His arrogant, smug smirk returns, if a bit subdued. Whatever smarmy remark or innuendo he has at the ready never comes, though, as voices from the dining hall ring out.
So, is this a full-time job for you then?
Ah.
Nah, I just freelance mostly, for magazines, newspapers, and events. So you can't really call it a full-time job.
Zach, I miss you.
It's fun and it puts food on the table, but it's not what I really want to do, at least not all the time.
That would be the magazine photographer, I presume. As always, Mrs. Wright talks in such a kind and cheery fashion, no matter who she's talking with. It certainly puts people at ease around her. It sounds like it's working on the photographer, too. Hearing them, though, seems to put Mr. Wright in a sour mood. Yes, oh. She can't talk to another man. She'll realize how terrible I am. At least if his small scowl was anything to go by. Is he jealous? God. I mean, this is the actual kind thing to do, right? And he might hate it, which I might like. Yeah, you know what? Because I want to see his reaction to this anyways. So, we're going to ask him if he's alright.
Hey, are you alright there, Whiskey? You're looking like you need a serious drink.
Oh, he likes that.
What is it that you want to do then?
Films. Documentaries mostly. But cinematography is a lot more difficult than photography, right? I was working on this thing, actually.
I'm fine. Just a bit winded from all that moving about. It's been a long day.
Oh, come on. Tell me what's on
And
your
the
mind.
day's not over yet. So if you can excuse the bloodness, you either shape up to help or ship out back to your room and let us do the rest of the work.
Ah. He hesitates, eyes locked firmly on the door that led to the dining hall. Even now, we can still hear as Mrs. Wright and the photographer chit-chat in between shots.
It's not my place to say this, but she really does seem to care a lot about you, you know?
There's no need to remind me of that.
A strange smile appears on his face before he shuts his eyes and sighs.
Tell the workers that you're all dismissed early.
That's nice and all, Whiskey, but we really shouldn't just take off. Delays aren't a good thing when it comes to big projects like these. The sooner we tackle certain issues, the better.
And the certain issue I want to tackle right now is your relationship.
And I trust you can take care of these issues another day. Don't make me ask again, Mint.
Don't call me
Just
that.
tell the others they can go home early. And to not worry, they'll still get paid the remaining hours.
I don't know what prompted this, With the air he's putting on, though, I know better than to meddle and prod further. Besides...
Fine. You're the boss.
Walking out of the kitchen, I just accept the fact that whatever he says will go while under his roof. Mrs. Wright and the photographer are still far too busy in conversation to notice me, even as I make my way through the dining hall. Besides, I didn't want to ruin their fun.
Well, it wasn't really a big thing.
People didn't like Blue Fonzie very much.
People don't like a film about colors. I suppose they would have liked Blue Bibby a lot more.
Oh, I'm glad I get to hear this joke again. Going to the foyer has me stumble upon the family butler once more, who raises a brow at my presence.
And where are you off to in a hurry, Miss McCulloch? The foreman is looking for you.
The Bratwurst wants us off the clock. He's dismissing us early because of... Oh, I don't know.
Are you gonna talk to me about this?
He just wants us out of here.
I'll go and call a cab for you then. It would be for the best that you leave when he asks you to.
I don't doubt it. My ride back to the city doesn't take too long to get here. What sort of picture have we got for now? Okay, nice little picture of those two. Granted, there were some difficulties at first because the driver didn't know where the Ermengarde mansion is. He tried to have us hand over GPS coordinates from our smartphones or some other techno-babble I didn't care about, and the butler didn't understand. But as soon as we told him it's the haunted mansion over in Ansem Village, he knew just the place. And finally headed over, albeit with some hesitation. All the way back to the city, the driver keeps complaining about that place, giving him the willies. They give me the willies, too. I would have loved to snap at him. But as soon as the thought occurs to me, another blossoms in the forefront of my mind. One that has somehow bothered me greatly, more than my exasperation over whiskey in this project, or wanting all of it to stop. There has been no Lorraine whispering over my ears today. Worse, I find myself searching for it. Searching for her. Damn new earthy loose ends. Fucking bloody loose ends everywhere. I thought I've already moved past this years ago. It does nothing to help me curb my frustration. If anything, it only ensures that I want a stiff drink. And where else do I go to drink? But here at the Crawl Bar. The place that I'm not supposed to call it, but I don't remember the other name for it. Alright, well, I have a feel. Oh, I'm reading this and seeing that there's improv on Wednesdays. Well, we're going to have to see that improv next time. I'm sure that's going to be great. And what other possible misfortunes await us here at the bar. Until then, this has been Downstage Gaming. I have been your host, Josh, and I will see you all next time.